Welcome back to the Moose Jaw Miller Express expansion franchise on Out of the Park Baseball 26, right here on 3 Up, 3 Down. As always, I greatly appreciate all your guys' support. So make sure you like, share, and subscribe to this channel if you were into this kind of content. When I last left you guys, we had done our first year amateur player draft where we picked up Ethan Holiday with the #1 overall pick. And then I said we were heading into the trade deadline and that we really weren't going to make any moves. Well, guess what? We made some moves. We also finished the first season. We headed into the off season, and we are now ready for season 2. So we need to catch you up on everything that's been going on. Of course, we are going at a much faster pace than we did last year, trying to get you guys some more seasons here in this series. So if you really appreciate the video, make sure you comment down below. So without further ado, what happened at the trade deadline? Well, we were really bad at the deadline, as we were basically all of season 1. We knew that was going to happen in an expansion franchise, but we got offered a deal you just couldn't turn down. The Yankees offered us Ian Hamilton, the reliever, and catcher Antonio Gomez for third baseman Ernie Clement. So, of course, we had to take that deal, but we did not hang on to these players for very long. We then turned Ernie Clement around. We flipped him to the Boston Red Sox, and we picked up our starting second baseman / shortstop, Vaughn Grissom. We also sent Will Brennan to the Dodgers, probably our best player last year, for Bobby Miller, a big-time arm for their starting rotation. As well, we picked up Yainer Cano on a separate deal with the Orioles, not much really going back the other way. So that took us through right to the end of the season with those players. Vaughn Grissom played very well for us. Bobby Miller was trash, and Cano kind of started to stabilize our bullpen. Of course, we went ahead and finished 43 and 119 in season 1, so we were garbage, which meant we had to make a lot of moves in the off season. And boy, did we make some moves, and we made a lot of changes. First off, we made a bunch of trades. We kicked off the offseason by acquiring prospect Ronnie Mauricio, the third baseman from the New York Mets, for Zach McKinstry. We made a deal with the D-backs. We picked up prospect left fielder A.J. Vukovic, who raked at AAA last year, as well as Kevin Ginkel for our bullpen, traded away Nasim Nunez and Gerald Rosaldo. We picked up first baseman Spencer Torkelson, looking for a bounce back from him for starter J.P. Sears, and J.P. Sears was absolutely awful for us. And then we basically traded for an entire starting outfield with Chandler Simpson, the speedster, Drew Baker, and Robert Hassel III, all coming over from Tampa Bay for reliever Ryan Thompson and our starting catcher from last year, Rafael Marchand. Now that left some holes in our lineup, but of course, we had a lot of money burning a hole in our pocket, close to $80 million. So it was time to go shopping in free agency with some hopefully younger free agents to build around with this young core. And of course, when you think young prospects in that first offseason of the 2025 offseason, well, there's no one better than Bo Bichette at shortstop, 6 years, $108 million. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. as well, 7 years, $203.8 million. Big signings to stabilize this team, as well as bring in fan interest. And then we had to add to our starting rotation, bringing in Tyler Mahle, 3 years, $33 million to try and stabilize our rotation. So after all that, we are ready for season 2. So what does the roster look like compared to last year? We'll take a look at the starting rotation. Last year finished off with Javier Assad, Bobby Miller, JP Sears, Casey Mize, and Ryan Weathers. Basically, very little changes here. Tyler Mahle is slotting in, although I will say he is hurt to start the season in season 2. So Eugenio Herrera, our prospect, who is now ready for the big leagues, has also moved up and probably going to get a lot of play in the majors this season. So there you can see what's going on with the starters. Not a big change there. In the bullpen, we do see some more changes. Yainer Cano, Andrew Nardi are back. Kevin Ginkel slots in place of Ryan Kerr. Brian King, Osvaldo Barrios are back. Jack Neely's back. But Zach Messinger is going to be gone. Ryan Townsend was dealt away. So we've added Jack Leiter as a reliever in this simulation and David Festa as kind of a long man. We picked him up in the Rule 5 draft. So the relief core is a little deeper than last season, a little bit stronger in the back end with Cano, Nardi, and Ginkel. Big changes in the lineup, though. Of course, this is where we made the most progress. Starting catcher Rafael Marchand is gone, but Miguel Amaya is going to step up and be that starter. Vlad Jr. We had a huge hole at first base. He is going to be the guy. Vaughn Grissom finished last year at shortstop, going to slide over to second base. Charles LeBlanc was incredible for us in the second half last year with an OPS plus over 100. One of the few guys who actually did that for us. So he's going to start the year as our third baseman. Bo Bichette slots in at shortstop. In the outfield, Chandler Simpson, Robert Hassel III, and Khalil Watson. Watson had an OPS plus of 120 in the second half for us. He was absolutely incredible. A huge building block, a big step forward from him as a young player. And Spencer Torkelson will play DH for us. You notice there Tristan Peters is gone. He's still on the roster. He's going to be a backup outfielder for us. Eddie Leonard is gone down to the minors. Lucan Baker is gone to the minors. Most of these guys are going to return to the minors just because we have better players and far, far more depth. So there's the roster. Make sure you comment down below what you think of this second-year roster. Still a lot of holes, still a poor starting staff. I understand that, but we are trying to make some progress and create a much, much better team for the Moose Jaw Miller Express. So without further ado, it's time to send you to opening day of season 2. So let's jump into that. As always, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, everyone.